So finally, the best league in football is back. The best football in the world, in my opinion. The most entertaining football, in my opinion. We got the Liga MX back Friday, July 5th. We're going to tread a little bit light, but nonetheless, we're still going to go for it, make some money. This is my third season getting into this. So, hopefully it goes a lot better than the last two seasons. I think I got a little more experience under my belt now. So let's go for it. I'm going to try and help you guys make some money. And we're going to start off with Friday. I went back, took a little bit more notes, took a little bit more time to look back, see what we did right, see what we did wrong. And even went back just one more season back where I didn't cap it. But I still think there's some useful information. And one thing I noticed is the over 2.5 hits quite a bit more often than the under does. So that's what's going to kick off our Friday with the first game. We got Puebla at home, who plays very fast-paced. Santos do not have any defense. They have not had any defense for quite a while in the last 2 to 3 seasons. Same thing can be said for Puebla. But again, both of these teams do play a very fast pace. And I think we're going to see goals in this one, which is why you see the both teams to score at a minus 200. You see the over 3 at minus 118, which is you're not getting as much favorable odds as you would with the under, which is minus 102. Even if this score ends up being 2-1, you at the very least get your money back. So you can take a shot on something else, have another bet. I don't really want to take a side in this game because there's just not a lot of information out on as far as the lineups, as far as what kind of trades, what kind of players they may be bought and sold throughout the offseason. It's just very difficult to find information on this kind of thing, specifically with the Liga MX type teams. So for me, I think, and for this first game, we're going to hit it off with an over 3. Both of these teams somewhat like to be involved in high-scoring matches over the last 2 to 3 seasons. And I think we see another high-scoring banger of a match to kick off the very first game of the Liga MX. So give me the over 3. Minus 118, not too bad of an odds. Shop around, you might be able to find something better. But overall, I think we see something like 3-2. That's kind of the style of games Puebla really likes to play. We got second game up for the first round, Friday, July 5th. July 5th. Querétaro at home up against Tijuana. Tijuana, one of the sorriest teams that we have seen in the last 2 to 3 seasons. I believe they ended up damn near last place last season. It was very hard for them to even scrub out one win. I remember the celebration was big when they finally did scrub out one win. Before that, I believe their win was somewhere around April, and before that, they didn't even win dating back to November 2023, which was just downright embarrassing. I don't think anything's different I don't think they're going to have anything different this season. Maybe a little bit of a rebuilding season. Querétaro somewhat getting in that mix of being competitive. They're at least solid as far as being a mid-table team. At home, that's usually when we see surprises from them. And just from doing my research, I'm going to just keep hitting that over, at least if the spot looks good enough. I think this spot looks good enough simply because I think Tijuana is that much of a sorry team. And Querétaro, if they're going to do anything, it might as well be here at home, being... I would call it a slight favorite, but some might tell you that they're somewhat of a heavy favorite. I think they're a little bit of a slight favorite, but 2.5, it's juiced to minus 130. You got both teams to score at minus 155. I think they're trying to tell us that this game is going to be at least 2-1. That being 2-1, 3-1, those were such a common final score in the last 2 to 3 seasons. So I think that continues here. If it's an under, so be it. If it's going to be an under, it's probably going to be 2-0 or 1-1. If I have to pick a side, it's going to be Querétaro on the money line. But I'm probably not going to play it just because I want to see more information on some of these lineups. And I'm pretty much going to have to just wait for this whole first round to play out. That way I'm able to see some of the lineups that are going to be for the next coming weeks. So I think for this card, I'm probably going to play a lot more totals. Most of them probably going to be over. I'm going to just read you guys some numbers. In last season, the over, I'm just accounting for all the games, rounds 1 through 17. The over 88 to 65 in 2023, the second half of the 2023 season. The over hit 83 times to the under 69, and then the season before that, the over hit 86 to the under 67. So the over is definitely a lot more favored in the long term, and that's what we're here for. We're playing the long-term game as well as trying to get the most that we can in the short term. But for now, we're just going to have to play the long-term game that's been working simply because we just do not have that much information on the lineups and seeing how these lineups play. So I'm not taking a side here. I'm going to just play the over 2.5. I think we get there 2-1. Final score from whoever wants to take that win, maybe even 2-2. But all I care about is for this first round, I think I'm only just going to focus on the totals. Last game for Friday, July 5th. We got my team playing at Juarez. Very interesting game here. I think both these teams are very weak. Both of these teams have a lot of trouble scoring. And for the most part, they've played in somewhat low-scoring games. Sometimes they're in high-scoring games. Sometimes they're not. The Atlas plays some high-scoring games from time to time, but Juarez is just involved in a lot of low-scoring games in the last season. I don't think much is going to change here. It's projected that both teams are going to score. I'm not even 100% sure about that. I'll be honest with you. I think the score ends up 1-1, but I have to play the over. I'm hoping the draw goes 2-2. Will it land? Again, who knows? Who knows? This league is pretty unpredictable. To be quite honest with you, any sport is unpredictable. Anybody that tells you any sport is predictable and then they're killing it, I think they're just trying to sell you some BS. Any sport is unpredictable. Doesn't matter if it's baseball, basketball, football, UFC, boxing. Doesn't really matter. Everything is unpredictable. And Liga MX, sadly, is just no exception. The only thing that I can tell you is that over the last couple seasons, in the long term, the over hits a lot more than the under, which is pretty much a good record. Anybody who has a record of picking something like 86 to 67, if they have that record in picks, that's a pretty damn good record, especially when they're getting odds at like -110, -120. So we're just gonna go with the over here. But I hate to say it like this because it's not really logical, but I just have a feeling Juarez and Atlas, they're gonna go to a draw, and for +250, I'll take my chances. If you're gonna take a bet, if you're gonna tail me, you're gonna believe in my bet with the draw at +250, please bet very, very lightly. This is just the first round. That, and we still have more games over the coming weekend and over the next 16, 17 weeks plus. So please bet very, very lightly. Make your money last the whole season. Over 2.5 is probably the play I'm more confident in, just because both of these teams have no type of defense. Even though they play in low-scoring games, but they have no type of defense. I know that doesn't make much sense, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, I'm still going to go with the draw on the money line, hoping it's 2-2 and we cash, go home happy. So that's going to be it for the Friday games, guys. Just tune in on Saturday. I believe we have another 3 games.